Thank you. My first question is for Mr. Bewick, and would just like to ask him, I guess, a harsh question, but one that I think is raised far too often, is what would happen to Alberta if the oil and gas industry was stopped today?
Well, like I said, Alberta has diversified a great deal since the 80s. I think in large part due to lower taxes and lower regulations, but also spin-offs from the wealth created by that oil sector. So we are in a place where, I mean, we wouldn't, we would, you know, we have other things we do, of course, but it would be a pretty drastic effect, just like it would be in any province if you have 25% of your economy surrounding a certain industry and that disappeared tomorrow. So it would be a pretty dire recovery for a decade at least. And but Albertans are resourceful and hardworking, and I'm sure we'd find a way to struggle back. But you know, looking at the other way, it would be a real lost opportunity for Canada to continue to profit and have spin-off jobs coming from an industry that provides a product that the world is going to be wanting in copious amounts for another 3 decades at least.
For sure. Thank you, Mr. Bewick. And to Ms. Cobden, there is what would be the impact of your industry if Alberta's oil and gas industry ended today?
Yeah, again, just to reiterate, Alberta's energy sector is a very important market for Canadian steel. So continuing for it to be prosperous is certainly a very important objective of ours. We think of our marketplace and as, you know, kind of in thirds. The auto sector is a third, the construction infrastructure sector is a third, and the energy sector is a full third of our marketplace. So it would be very significant, clearly.
Okay, thank you. Then to Mr. Sands, what would happen if Alberta's oil and gas stopped, and what would be the impact on the grocery stores in Alberta and really across our country?
Well, it would just significantly increase prices. I mean, the cost of transporting goods is a significant one in terms of the bottom line. So it would have a huge impact on our industry, particularly because for many products they're seasonal and there's imports. So,
thank you. And Mr. Carlos, do your organizations and I have to say Banff is amongst the most beautiful places in the world. Do your organizations receive any money from the government and from the federal or from the government? And if that money disappeared tomorrow, what would be the impact on the parks?
Yeah, so clearly there's being a federal national park, there's money flows into the park to support the infrastructure there, the Parks Canada infrastructure. But really, the result of that is the economic activity that the ministry that $3 billion, 250 million provincial taxes and 470 federal taxes. And I think it's important to note as well that about 40% of the business in that region producing that $3 billion comes from Alberta, comes from the wealth and success of the province.
Thank you very much for that. And then our friends with respect to the Theatre Alliance and the stage employees. And I have to say, I absolutely love live theatre, and thank you for all you do. And to what extent do you receive any subsidies from the federal government or from the province of Alberta? And what impact would that be if those were taken away tomorrow?
Perhaps I'll join in, and then Arden, feel free. The federal and most provincial governments, or all provincial governments, have some funding formula for most arts organizations, the Canada Council for the Arts, and there's the similar provincial agencies. In addition to that, industries themselves will make direct contributions to specific art festivals, theatrical events, that sort of thing. I'm not aware. I'm sure there is significant contribution from the industry in Alberta, but I'm just not aware of that information.